the #1 hotel wellness podcast.
Broken Premises.
Shay Getty. Hello and welcome to Broken Premises, the self-help podcast for 5-star hotels. Thank you for tuning in to me, Shay Getty. Together, we are opening new doors. Today, I have a very special guest. She's a newly renovated hotel with a long history going all the way back to 1992. She is part of a big group of global travel destinations who are big on theming. We will call her DH. Welcome, DH. It is an honor to speak with you.
Hi, Shay. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm looking forward to telling my side of the story. Just thank you for listening.
Yeah, well, that's what we do here because listening is healing. Now, DH, can I call you D?
Oh, be my guest.
Now, D, you've had a big life event recently. You went on like a 3-year journey to find and redefine yourself, and 1 month ago opened yourself up to the world again, and with great fanfare.
Oh yes, it was so liberating just to open those gates again. Such a joyous occasion.
I hear you, yeah. But you encountered some challenges, and you still seem to be struggling with some issues. Tell me about that.
Well, Shay, I can say, I thought I was ready to welcome the world again, but maybe I underestimated the demands that people would place on my services. Everything had to look perfect. I think it did. But there were some. Okay, let's say eternal alignment issues. I had a lot of people making demands from the outside who wanted to be part of my world. But I wasn't ready to let them in just yet, and I felt a little overwhelmed, I think.
Yeah, we focus so much on our outer confidence, on how we appear to the world, but what is the pathway to inner confidence? You want people to walk into your rooms and feel that energy, be energized by that space, to build their confidence that they feel safe, comfortable, and confident in those environments.
Well, yes, also that's exactly
and confidence is a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation from one's own abilities or qualities. I always say a dream, is a wish your heart makes. Let's say that again. A dream is a wish your heart makes. When you're awake or half asleep, you're telling your subconscious that you are able to grow, that you can get your housekeeping right, that those who requested a bath actually get a bath, and that you, D, deserve those 5 stars. You have achieved something valuable. You have welcomed others to enjoy that value and charged them hundreds or thousands for it. But that's not important. That's material wealth. I'm talking about confidence wealth. You have to protect that wealth so that you don't devalue yourself, even if that means not letting some people into your hotel, not letting people in who just want to occupy your space rent-free. You are exclusive. You deserve to be exclusive, but that means focusing your time and energy on those within your world who deserve being there, who have paid top euro for a room, a meal, a spa, a makeover. Only they have the right to go into that boutique of experiences and purchase those fine china teacups, because that gives them the confidence that they are exclusive, that they are special, that they are your valued friends. When I visited the monks of Dokonda for a meditation retreat and I wanted to join them, but they went out of their way to reject me, which was a valuable lesson. And because of that, I could focus on what I'm good at. So don't worry about those 2.5-star reviews, because that's the universe telling us we can do better. Don't worry about maybe losing 1 star, because we learn from our mistakes. And it's okay to also be a 4-star hotel for a while. I always say, if you can dream it, you can do it. I came up with that. And if you can build it, they will come. You built it, you renovated it, DH, and they came. Just make sure they keep coming. And The way to do that is by keeping it mysterious. The more they know you, the less exotic you become. The press and influencers can only do so much, so they build up people's expectations, and when they meet you, they might be disappointed. Occupy the suites with the top of the cream, like, say, my good old friend Simon Cowell. I helped him become who he is. And so I take a moment to honor myself, to honor myself for the skills I developed, to honor myself for the risks that I took. If you do that too, people like Simon will tell his friends, who will tell theirs, and you'll have rock stars coming, film stars, CEOs, gurus like me. Actual princes will be sweeping your princesses off their feet. And open that new haute cuisine restaurant with a top chef. There's another star you can grab, a Michelin star. You can wow those guide inspectors, and I will guide you and coach you. It's about trust and confidence, Dee. Do you trust yourself?
Yes.
Do you have confidence in yourself? Do you feel energized to deal with these challenges?
Yes.
Oh, you'll get there.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. You need to get to that point. And ladies and gentlemen, that's been Broken Premises with me, Shay Getty. Thank you to Dee for talking to me and opening up about your challenges. What a marvelous conversation we had, Dee. And to you out there, remember, don't forget to sign up for my Self-Help for Luxury Hotels app now with 20% discount for annual pass holders, plus a month's supply of our ethically plant-sourced sparkling Guji tea. And I like to say to all of you, you too can shine brighter while they dream.
Hello, good people of the epic universe known as Disneyland Paris fandom. Welcome to the Dedicated to DLP podcast. This is episode 190. I'm your host, Beth, and joined today by my partner in banter, if not crime, Mark. Hey there, Mark.
Hello, Beth. Glad to see you taking on those hosting duties again.
Well, you know, somebody has to take charge every now and again. You know, it avoids confusion among the listeners.
I'm all for a less confusing world. What have we got lined up today in our show to make things less confusing?
Okay, I don't know if you've noticed, but we have been having quite the traffic over on our Facebook page ever since we managed to stand in line for 2 hours to catch a fleeting glimpse of the interior of the Disneyland Hotel.
Indeed, I see many people had questions that needed answering, and others had comments that needed questioning.
Well, exactly. So that's why the second part of the episode today is going to be dedicated to answering some of those concerns by way of relaying some of the guest reviews that have emerged on Google and TripAdvisor. We thought we could try to give a balanced impression of the first month back in operation.
Yeah, sounds very fair. And what do we do to start off with?
Okay, we have received some more letters, so let's get going with yet another edition of Love Our Listeners.
Easy listening for the easy listeners.
So, first up, we have mail from friend of the show, Kim. Hello, Team D to DLP. Some time ago, I wrote in with some listener appreciation for you and Fort Comstock. Coming week, I'll be visiting our beloved parks again, finally, and I managed to get a reservation for the My Royal Dream experience at the Disneyland Hotel. Pure luck, because we're staying at the Sequoia Lodge. I believe the experience is, as of now, only open for Disneyland Hotel guests, though previously made reservations will be accepted. So my 6-year-old daughter will hopefully be enjoying the makeover, and I will be reveling in the glory of unattainable luxury. We'll be bringing our own princess dress to minimize costs, but I'm sure it'll be a memorable experience nevertheless, and I'll let you know in a week or two. Kind greetings from the Netherlands, Kim.
Oh, so you can do that. You can bring your own princess dress to My Royal Dream.
Exactly. That is that first tier the one that costs, I think, is it 46 or 49 euros? You bring your own dress with you.
Oh, I
and
see.
you get the hair and the makeup.
That is so
So
typically
there
Dutch.
is that as an option.
And I can say that because I was born in the Netherlands. I'm not making fun of anybody.
Okay, so you're not being derogatory.
Not at all.
I do want to say
it's a way of
to
life.
our listeners, as of now, hey, thrift is good. No shade is being thrown. That actually guests of Disneyland hotels, those hotels on property, we're talking about the Cheyenne Hotel, Santa Fe, the usual suspects. They are accepting reservations from those hotels for the My Royal Dream experience. So it's not just limited to hotel guests.
If you
So
are
don't be
following
afraid if you want to
us,
try
you
your
know
luck.
that now. Yes, because it keeps changing.
Yeah.
So we're not changing the information this episode, guys. Whatever it was last episode, I can't even remember.
Yeah, exactly. A good place to keep up with it is on the Instagram. You're always up to date on your stories, and things are going well on the Facebook too. We're keeping the information up to date there. Okay, next we have a lovely trip report from longtime listener and contributor Darren.
Trip report from the 4th of February till the 8th of February. Me and my wife Jill, bin day, travel day, stayed at Hotel Cheyenne. Great room as usual, new pod coffee machines and one UK plug. Had a walk to the village and to Annette's for dinner. Both of us had burgers. And then some retail therapy at World of Disney. Popped over to the Disneyland Hotel for a peek. There were cast members at each door asking for reservations, so we could only take a few pics from outside. But the lobby and chandelier were beautiful, so didn't even get in. Sorry to hear that, Darren. Day one, up at 7 a.m. to drive across the road to Hotel New York, the Art of Marvel, to get our magic passes. We couldn't check in until 3, so we went straight into the park for extra magic hours. Weather was so mild, we had packed for Arctic conditions, but it was about 13 degrees all day, really low wait times, so we hopped on and off most rides in the Disneyland park. Then Annette's for brunch. It's the second time they went to Annette. 15 euros plus AP discount, lovely and filling, set us up for the rest of the day. Then back to the park, we did Alice's Curious Labyrinth, first time ever. Really, Darren, first time in Alice's Curious Labyrinth. Was fun and a lot longer than we thought to get out. Yeah, it's very deceptive. Then over to the hotel to check in. Jill had booked us a superior room with garden view. The room was amazing, just felt so luxurious. Lots of little touches that were amazing, like the TV hidden behind the mirror that you could cast from your phone. Room had massive bed and sofa, coffee, pod machine, kettle and fridge. We're there on the 4th floor, so view outside was awesome. We could see the lake and Disney Village. I would say it's the second best hotel I have ever stayed in. I have been to the hotel a few times, but felt good to be able to actually stay there. Staff were really good and friendly. After a little chill, we went for our booking at Manhattan. The restaurant looks so grand and also has an impressive chandelier. So staff were so attentive, but limited menu and the food was just okay, which kind of corresponds to Vanessa's and your experiences, I think, as well. I would say 6 out of 10. Jill had chicken and I had the gnocchi. It is definitely a one and done. Then, after our underwhelming dessert, we went back to the park for the Electrical Sky Parade and just wow, so glad I didn't spoil it by watching any footage. It was so good, music was so fitting, and the whole of Main Street full of colors. A must-see. Disney World needs to up their game. We didn't watch Dreams as we are not fans of it, so back to a beautiful night's sleep in our massive bed. Day 2, we have breakfast at the Manhattan. A full range of hot and cold food. Again, it was okay. Sets you up for the day. Over to the studios. Most rides were walk-on. We had done Ratatouille, Tower of Terror and Flight Force all in the first hour. Got heroic encounter with Spider-Man. He was great. Didn't feel silly as we were the only ones without kids. Few good picks. Then back to the hotel for a swim. They're really getting their hotel time in, aren't they? We were the only ones in the pool. Massive pool with a big hot tub. Think the lifeguard was happy he had something to do. Watch out for those two, yes. Then back to the Disneyland park for popcorn and parade. Usual people coming last minute and trying to stand in front of people who have been waiting for ages. Then walk back to downtown for dinner. Great as always. A lot better now. It's a full buffet, as last time it went just after COVID, so it was a little family style. Great food. Yeah. Think I did 3 trips plus a dessert run. This is a must-do. After we went to Skyline Bar for a couple of cocktails, we had 2 of the Infinity Stone cocktails, red and purple. Lovely, he says. And then we get day 3 up early for Earl of Sandwich. Nice choice. Good as always. The American breakfast is lovely. Hopped on the Disney Railway for a chilled ride around the park. Always a must-do. Did the rides over again. The temperature was the same with light drizzle. Was okay under our ponchos. First time lunch at Bellanotte. Jill had penne pasta and I had Lady and the Tramp meatballs. Was really nice. Few more rides, then over to Steakhouse for dinner. And an underwhelming meal. Jill didn't touch her skirt steak. Not a very good cut. Ugh. This is a 4 out of 10. I will not be going back. Off to Skyline for another cocktail and then off to Dreamland. And on the last day, they had breakfast at the Manhattan, popped into the park, a few rides, lots of rain, then a last picture of the castle and off home. I can safely say this has been the most chilled trip I have ever had out of my 12 visits. Thanks, Jill, for this amazing trip. Now countdown to the next Disney trips, Walt Disney World in 219 days and DLP in 288 days. Thank you very much, Darren and Jill, for that chilled trip report. I think if you have so much time to be able to go back to the hotels, that's very relaxing. And of course, if you're there for 3 or 4 days, you can do that. Because usually if you're like 2 days there, then it's like, I'm going to do everything in the parks. Yeah.
That's the vibe, yeah. But just that 3rd day, anything after 2 days, you're just really in a sweet spot of being able to really take your time, enjoy your hotel. And some of these hotels are really worth enjoying. I'm a big fan of Art of Marvel, and I am glad to see them getting their fill of cocktails at the Skyline Bar.
Yes.
Vanessa would also be proud.
I know, because we've been missing our cocktail reports recently because of Vanessa's, whole baby thing. So, well, you had some good ones when you were there. Yes. And fortunately, Darren and his lovely wife got the job done. So, wow, good on them. Thanks for sending that in. Finally, we have a letter from all the way down under. Lovely listener Nadine has written in with words of praise and very big question. Oh. Settle in, folks. Hi, D to DLP. I found your podcast a few weeks ago, and I've become hooked on listening to you. I love your podcast, the kindness and friendly banter you have with each other. It's so lovely and informative. Just a pause here. Oh, yeah, that's nice. So we can enjoy our hearts being warmed. Exactly. Yes. It makes all the work that we do worth it. Yes. And it goes on. We are from Australia and coming to DLP the first week of April, straight after Easter, with family from England. I was wondering if there's anything special happening at Easter at DLP other than just being very busy. I have a nearly 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. So we're planning to spend a few days there to hopefully get on some rides, but mainly just to be able to take it all in. I'm Disney obsessed, so I'm trying not to have expectations too high, but do you have tips about still enjoying time with a large group of us, 5 adults and 5 kids total, in a very busy season at DLP? Thanks, Nadine.
Now, I wrote back to her for a few key details that I thought would help us give her good advice.
Yeah.
So when she answered, she wrote, "We are staying at Newport Bay for 4 nights."
Okay.
Yes. Unfortunately, the flights mean we don't get in till late the first day, and we leave early on the last day. So we have 3 full days in the parks, though I'm hoping to catch fireworks on the first day if we could. My nephews are 11 and 13. My niece is 9. Then we have my sister-in-law, her partner, my husband's mom, who isn't keen on doing much walking. We have reserved dinner for adults, taking it in turns, at Captain Jack's, and booked Pim Kitchen for lunch one day as well. We have some picky eaters who don't eat much, so I'm thinking lots of snacks. I was also wondering, is there a place within walking distance where we could buy bread for sandwiches? My boys will happily eat a sandwich over a burger or hot dog, and it would be slightly cheaper too. Thank you so much, Nadine. So
I think
good
Darren
question.
already answered
Yeah.
her question about the sandwiches, Earl of Sandwich. That's a good place to pick up a sandwich, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And bread and sandwich fixings can be had pretty easily at the train station. They can pop into the Relay or the Petit Casino in the back corner. And that's pretty popular. Now, some people are big fans of taking the RER train one stop and going to the big hypermarché at Val d'Europe. But I didn't particularly advise this group to take advantage of that.
No, because you're coming from
I didn't
Australia
think
and
that
you want
really-
to be in that Disney bubble.
Exactly.
So yes, those
But
Relay at the train station and Earl of Sandwich and burgers can be had at various places in Disney Village, but at a price, of course.
yeah. They sort of have some nice sandwiches, I believe, now at Rosalie at the little walk-up window. A sort
Yes.
of takeaway French-style sandwiches, which I think could be very nice.
Although Rosalie would also be very happy if you actually go and sit down and eat there.
They'd be very grateful. I do want to circle back to her very first question about what DLP does at Easter.
Yes, well.
And my answer to her, not much. These last few years, they'll sort of have surprise little things just for day of. Sometimes they'll have a special snack or something, but there's no special Easter parade. Certainly nothing has been announced to any of us yet. And, I think ever since Swing into Spring went by the wayside, springtime has been a little bit neglected.
That was a parade,
Although
right?
it was a little cavalcade, really lovely. The current decor, it's blooming in colors, they're calling it, that decor for the Symphony of Colors. It's
But
quite spring-like.
I have heard that decoration is only going to be there until end of March, apparently.
Dun, dun, dun.
So you might expect a different kind of spring harvest. No, the harvest is in full. A kind of spring
That's fall.
decoration to be coming out. And so, but we can't say. And the problem is that we don't get any information about what Disneyland Paris is up to after the Symphony of Colors season. The parade will still go on. It's just the decorations we're talking about. So you'll have that, at least. You'll have a million splashes of color. But something Easter specific, no. Unless they think of something else this year, of course.
There can be surprises day of. They could certainly be bringing out Thumper, little springtime characters, but we just have no word on that. When the Disney press gods smile upon us and give us information, we will certainly be passing that right on to all of our listeners and readers. I'm going to continue on because I'd made like a little list of about 8 items I didn't want to forget to mention to Nadine.
Go ahead.
I wanted to tell her that she has lovely meals booked. Great idea. Captain Jack's is great for that atmosphere.
Agree.
Pim is a favorite of my family. And I would recommend probably Disney Village for dinner and Rainforest Cafe. Oddly enough, that is such a kid pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it's going to thrill adults, especially if you're a foodie, but I just read every day on the boards, families really enjoying it. It's a hit with them. So don't write it off.
Because you have the decor there, and so if you have picky eaters, then those are nice distractions for them. Yeah.
And the menu's quite adapted to children. It's usually a big winner. And you already mentioned Earl of Sandwich, and that can be an exhausted evening go-to. My family's been known to do that. Get the sandwiches to take away, stagger to the room, often in Newport Bay, and eat in the room and collapse. So that's a helpful
it's on the
hint.
right side of the lake there, assuming that that passage is actually open.
Exactly.
Because last time we were there, we had to go the long way around in front of Sequoia Lodge. But yeah.
Fingers crossed. I say often lunch in the parks is an effective use of time, but you'll want to use that mobile ordering app on your phone. It will save your life. Casey's Corner hot dogs are great. Mexican food at Casa de Coco. Classic Italian at Colonel Hattie's or Bella Notte. All of those things are good, kid-pleasing. There's something for picky eaters, but do use your phone and order ahead. It will save you hours of waiting.
The good thing is that they have one adult per child. So if you can assign at least one adult to be on that app to do those food orders, you're set, basically.
Yeah, you're ahead of the game. Nice move on their part, staying on property. I think that's great. They have that extra magic time. And even if you're not really morning people, be sure and take advantage of that at least one morning. Get into that castle park bright and early. Be in line before 8:30 to get in there and get amazing pictures. Such a big family group. I mean, these are memories to be treasured. So get out there in front of that castle while crowds are very, very low. Take advantage of that.
Exactly. And because of it being springtime, the sun will be beautiful at that time of day. Just hitting the castle and yeah.
Official word from our resident photographer.
I love early and dusk light, yes.
Number 4 on my list was now Premier Access, the line skipping app that you pay for, is available. Look at that when lines get long. Don't bother with that ultimate pass unless you are a millionaire, would be my take on that.
We don't know. They could be.
3 days. That's plenty of times to enjoy the parks. Good on you if you can pay for those ultimate Premier Access passes and not blink. Sure, go ahead and do it. But it's really not necessary. We find it's useful on an as-needed basis. And it kind of brings me into the 5th thing. Just because you all love each other and your family does not mean that you should be together all the time.
But they said that they were splitting up the dinners, like they're sending some adults to go and eat while the others take care of the kids, I assume. So that's clever.
That is very clever. And don't be afraid during the day. You know, maybe after lunch, the 3 and 5-year-old, they want to ride Dumbo 5 times and then they collapse and want to have a rest. Be okay with splitting up and just, you know, some people going back to the hotel and maybe the older ones going on and being able to get on Big Thunder and things the littles can't get onto. Just be sure you have good communication set up to make it easy to regroup and get together when you want to be together. There is in-park Wi-Fi. People can find it a bit spotty at times. It is nice if you can have a SIM card that works in France. Just be sure you have your communication on lockdown. I'm glad you agree with me on this.
Yep.
How about take advantage of the character meets at your hotel? Mickey can be hard to meet. Sometimes there's long waits. So just check in.
Doesn't Mickey appear at
your
Newport
hotel
Bay Club?
Staff. He has been, although Goofy has been there recently. I've kind of
Donald
been on the
Duck for
boards
sure.
keeping track of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. As for times, it has been variable. Sometimes around breakfast time and then in the evening at 6 p.m. But I would say ask a hotel cast member to give you a little hint about when these things could be happening.
Yeah.
And that can be some quality character time. Number 7 is the Stitch Encounter over in the Studios Park is good fun, and even grown-ups will get a kick out of it. Just make sure you do go to an English session, because there's some sessions all in French and some all in English. It's marked on the marquee up above and in the app, so don't worry about that. And that takes me into just a general remark that with a big group like yours, different ages, Disney shows are your friend. They are great for all ages. Do not miss Mickey and the Magician, the Together Pixar musical adventure. These shows will keep everybody enchanted. They're one of the great things about Disneyland Paris. If there's a show, go see it together.
The Lion King should also be on at the Frontierland Theatre. And, well, we have to see, of course, at Walt Disney Studios, because they're redoing the whole studio area, which of those shows will be functioning at Easter time. But I'd say keep listening, Nadine, because we'll keep you updated on which shows are playing when in future podcasts. And I just wanted to do one more thing. It's like, I recently found this in a bag. So I'm holding up a Disneyland Paris program from 2013. This is from the October 2013 period. And they were super useful because you could find them at the entrance when you came in. And they had all the shows and all the parades and every meet and greet lined up with the times. And you could see, okay, I want to go and see that at that time and this at that time. Now, obviously, you can do that with the app, but you don't always want to be looking on your phone while you're at Disneyland Paris. So I don't think they don't make these anymore, do they? No, not since a while. It's better for the environment, but anyway, makes for a nice souvenir. So that was all your tips for her?
Yes, that was my list of tips. Did I forget anything?
No, I think we kind of covered that, and we answered all the questions, I think. If there's anything else you want to know, do get in touch, because until April, you still have time. And as I said, keep listening, and we'll put some more information out. And now we come to one of my favorite segments, where we review the reviews. And I hope you've got a venti-sized hot beverage, because we've got a lot of great stuff to cover here. Beth, how are we going to do this? Alternate one by one?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay, you want to take the first one?
I'll get us going.
Okay, great.
Will do. Okay.
And we have to say this is specifically about the hotel, the Disneyland Hotel.
Disneyland Hotel that just reopened, and this first group of reviews is off of Google Reviews. The general overview when I opened it up to see the reviews was, guests liked the large rooms, though some commented cleanliness could be improved. Some guests mentioned bathroom cleanliness could be improved. Some guests noted the beds could be improved.
Really, the beds. All right, what have we got?
All right, more specifically, last week, guest Nadia wrote, a high-level disaster. Definitely do not book this so-called 5-star hotel. Oh, Nadia, she does not pull her punches. It goes on. Is it not possible to give it 0 stars?
Oh dear.
4 question marks. We just returned from a 3-day, 2-night stay at the new Disneyland Hotel, This supposed 5-star hotel at 1,000 euros per night was one of our biggest disappointments we have experienced so far. Rooms received after complaints at 6:30 for check-in at 4 o'clock. We had to fetch our own luggage because they announced a 2-hour delay on luggage. Ground floor rooms, apparently deluxe rooms, on the poolside. A kilometer walk to get there with views of mud and access to the Studio Park construction site. Unable to open the window. We complained 5 times, left, and the problem still was not resolved. I've never heard so many "we are sorry and please excuse us" in 3 days. Catastrophic organization management. Untrained staff in restaurants. Unpleasant. Rude. At the Royal Banquet, the €100 per person buffet, half an hour to get our drinks, plates not cleared from the table. We ended up clearing the plates ourselves. At breakfast, problem with the coffee machine. We refused coffees that resembled brown hot water. Do they not even look in the cup before serving? We've been customers at Disneyland Paris since the opening, and we're happy to finally return to the new hotel, but what a disappointment. For us, the Disney magic has been shattered. We will surely never come back. Too bad. Rooms, they rated 3, service a 1, location 5 out of 10. Noteworthy details. Don't book this hotel. You can also just throw your money out the window. Nadia. She's a spicy girl.
5 out of 10 for location, or is it 5 out of 5 for location? Because the location you can't really disagree with. It's right there, unless you really want to be in the park.
Oh, I was reading it like that because I thought of her room location.
So room location. Yeah, okay. Well, you know that hotels at Disneyland Paris are big. Newport Bay is big. So it's possible that you get a room all the way at the end of the wing. That's just, part of it. But unfortunately, this sounds like a very bad experience. Yeah.
It does. Yeah, she had very specific gripes. And I feel for her.
I'd like to mention that because
this is not the only one.
This is somebody who's been at Disneyland Paris before. And I'm wondering if she's means that she's been at Disneyland Paris Hotel before, because I have been speaking to somebody, we'll call her Special Agent C, who has always been going to Disneyland Hotel, except, of course, for when it was closed for refurbishment. And they found quite a few issues as well when going back to the new hotel. So they know what they're talking about. And I think I've heard a couple of other people say the same, that they've been to Disneyland Hotel before and they were not pleased with the new service and management issues that were there. It's something that has come back again and again. So maybe it's teething problems. We don't know. Let's go to one of the next reviews and see if this becomes any better. So this one's from 5 days ago. Don't fall for the advertising. 5 stars are in no way justified. The reviews, some of which are good, cannot come from guests who have 5-star experience. There are big differences between real 5-star hotels and the Disneyland Hotel. We are a family and have been regular guests at Park Disney for years. After staying at the Marvel Hotel New York, for example, we were struck by the prospect of a 5-star stay at Hotel Disneyland shortly after it opened in February 2024. Fact check, the price per day, $1,000. Full board for 3 guests, additional $500, excluding drinks. Excessive entrance checks for cars and luggage, not discreet as usual in 5-star hotels. So a very unmagical beginning. Train station atmosphere upon arrival, as around 100 people were waiting for access to the booked room in the few armchairs and sofas, many on the floor. Can you imagine that? These are scenes that I have seen at
classy
at ferries in Greece, where they overbook the ferries and people have to sit on the floor. Not in a 5-star hotel. Pre-check-in is no use. You have to check in completely again. Nothing was offered, not even water. Rooms were only ready between 5 and 6. We've heard that one again. You then look for the room on your own, approximately 500 meters. The room is not explained, so we only noticed on the second day that the air conditioning was completely switched off. Large room, very loud at times, construction noise, hammering. I guess that's coming from Walt Disney Studios.
Yeah.
Absolute mini bathroom, 2 stars. Shower, loose hanging hand shower. Sink, smelly toilet, strong chemical new smell. Almost all building materials used are inexpensive hardware store goods. Not a 5-star feeling. Room service is fast. Prices are extreme. The half-full €52 wine bottle is simply taken out of the room in the morning and remains missing. There is no turn-down service. The cleaning service always comes when you are tired and returning from the park. Glasses and cups were not washed. Tea bags, espresso capsules, etc. were not refilled, nor was the mini bar. I can't stand that when you've had a cup of tea, you come back in the evening and there's no new tea. Service, very friendly staff, trained in conflict avoidance and stalling. That is not a compliment you want to get on a review. If there is criticism, it is referred to the nearest authority, usually the reception. But there, they only make excuses. Things just aren't going well, and above all, nothing has magic or is elegant. In the restaurant, lounge or bar areas, overcrowding is extreme throughout the day. You may not get a 5-star feeling until you book Signature Suites or Castle Club. Positive. Proximity to the park. Friendliness of most of the staff. Rooms, 1 star. Service, 1 star. Location, 4 star. I think it must be out of 5. I'd have to check the Google reviews, but another not so good one, unfortunately. And we come back to this thing of the hotel room not being ready on time. I see a pattern here, which is housekeeping issues. And I think I've heard about that as well.
Yeah, we were hearing about that from other friends that have podcasts that were staying there. I've been seeing it on the Facebook advice boards, and then we're seeing it on the reviews on Google and also on TripAdvisor. Now, the nosedive that this hotel took in TripAdvisor ratings actually made it into press, even in the United States.
Is that so?
There were a few headlines.
Really?
They were calling it review bombing. I'm not sure it's exactly that. This is kind of truth-telling. I mean, people are complaining and they have legitimate gripes. But yeah,
didn't the
this
review
is becoming a bit of an infamous case.
When a hotel goes through a renovation, does the review board get reset? Because I can imagine that something closes, new management comes in, 3 years later, it reopens. Shouldn't they have a new review system? I'm not sure how that works on TripAdvisor, but yes, apparently. Anyway, I'll leave it to you to read the first one from TripAdvisor.
First one from TripAdvisor, Eileen wrote, staying at the Disneyland Hotel Paris for its opening weekend, and unfortunately we are very disappointed. The service has been awful throughout our stay. Wait staff are undertrained and very slow. We also got messed around 3 times regarding our room being cleaned. Eventually someone turned up at 5 p.m. to clean it, after having been giving 3 times, which varied between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. This hotel not worth the money or the hype.
Yes, again, housekeeping issues. Now, it could be that, that when at some point there was a strike by housekeepers, cleaning staff at the Newport Bay Club, and we had to point out that that's not Disneyland Paris cast members. That was a company, a third-party company that Disneyland Paris had hired to do the cleaning. And they were basically protesting their working conditions and salaries from the company that had hired them. So nothing to do with Disneyland Paris. I don't know if the housekeeping staff are Disneyland Paris cast members or if this is also an outside company. We don't have that information. But it's obvious that that's a sticking point with the hotel, and unfortunately, it really bothers guests if your housekeeping isn't up to scratch. And I can understand if you've just reopened, you have to rehire, you have to retrain your staff. You need a good plan, a good schedule. But I can understand if you become overwhelmed in the first couple of days, but not if by the end of the first month you're still having the same problems. Anyway, I'm not a hotel manager, and I shall go to the next review to see what they have to say. Here's a guest from the UK. Booked a 4-night stay for my daughter's birthday. Special trip for the hotel's grand reopening. Was wowed by the decor. But after that, the little touches and services got worse and worse. Check-in took ages, even though already checked in on app. Lobby overcrowded with guests. Not what you want.
Non-guests.
With non-guests. Not what you want when paying the prices for this hotel. Room not ready until after 5 p.m. Really bad for a 5-star. Booked my daughter a princess makeover. In the boutique, she was rushed by the shop assistant to pick her dress, and the lady was rude and not magical at all. Not a cheap experience and shouldn't be made to rush. Breakfast in the Royal Buffet is bad. Not much hot food, empty trays. Chefs standing around, not helpful. Nobody speaks English, so can't ask for eggs, etc. Staff not friendly to the children. When asking for coffee, etc., seems like a hassle for them. Restaurants in the hotel were always fully booked and so difficult to get in. Surely being a guest, they should try to be more accommodating. Swimming pool, cold, and the hot tub is 1 in, 1 out. Couldn't even go in with my family. Had to keep ringing to ask for room to be cleaned and serviced. No new water bottles after 1 day. So bad for a 5-star hotel. Asked for an invoice when checked out, said didn't do them, which is terrible, because now I'm home, I have charges on my card, I don't know what they are. Needed an invoice to cross-reference. Hotel used to have 5-stay service, now it's a 3-star. Only positive is the location. Hotel doesn't warrant its cost.
It's just, when you think of the unholy prices they charge for rooms in that hotel, they can't pay decent cleaning staff, have enough people on duty. It's unreal.
Yes.
Where's all this money going?
Because if you're staying at the Hotel Cheyenne or Santa Fe, you can kind of forgive that. But I think the service is even better there, because we don't see these bad reviews from those hotels, do we? There might be an issue with decoration. There might be an issue with mattresses not being as comfy as you'd like them to be. But on the whole, staff and housekeeping seem to be, well, okay, you had a bad experience there one time as well with a towel that wasn't...
Yeah, I have.
Yes. So...
But I'm not as outraged as I would be to
because
be
you didn't pay that
$1,000
much
a night.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly.
There are expectations.
For that much money,
when you say you're a 5-star hotel, there are expectations, and you've got to meet them. Next.
Exactly. Next one. Sam wrote a review entitled "Lost Its Magic, Charm, and Comfort."
Just to be clear, this is not Sam
I
for
think
God.
this is one. No.
This is Sam
And this
F.
review's one.
Could be Sam
part
for
of
God.
it made it into one of the press articles from the States that I read. So this one is notorious.
No.
Buckle up.
2-star.
Expectations were high, but reality was sorely lacking. The reception has lost its magic, charm, and comfort. The chairs are covered in faux leather, screaming hygiene rather than luxury. Yes, Sam, exactly my argument with this. Okay, I love this person. The table lighting's too bright, but lighting and reception isn't right anyway. Deeply sad this has happened to a once wonderful hotel. However, the castle chandelier is an outstanding piece of glasswork. We paid for deluxe breakfasts. They're better at Marvel Hotel and Sequoia Lodge. Staff in the deluxe lounge were hit or miss, some really lovely, others just rude. More training is required. We had no turn-down service, no chocolates on pillows. Sad. The room itself is well appointed. and lighting is a nice touch, as is the canopy. We were there the first week. It was fully open, so they weren't allowing anyone other than guests to enter the hotel. Having to show your magic pass every time you entered the hotel seems an unnecessary precaution. Just let people in and see the place. Why the restrictions? Okay, well, this was obviously written early on. I think they're struggling with staff. Tissues, water, not replenished in the room. At one point, I was pleased we had toilet paper. Also, no concierge at the deluxe wing. Yeah, it's such an amazing experience. There was nobody in the conciergerie in the deluxe wing whenever we rang or attempted to go down and speak to anybody. It's so sad, especially the reception area. I've been to a few castles as a paying guest, and it wouldn't be hard to replicate the comfort and opulence of a castle reception lounge. Come on, Disney, you could have done better. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I am not surprised you didn't find the concierge, because he was trying to solve other people's problems, from the sounds of it.
Yeah, probably running around.
Let's see.
Again, like very specific complaints. The people are not nitpicking. You know?
No, I mean, this shouldn't be a cause for so many complaints. You should just be like, yeah, we had a fine time at the hotel, and the rest of the time we're in the park. No, there are some really serious issues going on here that people are bringing out. And people are taking time. I have to say, people are taking their time to write these reviews. It's not something people do.
Long reviews.
Long reviews. Another one. 2-star, the worst service I have ever experienced. I'm sorry, listeners. If you've come here for some good reviews, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this is fact. These are out there. The hard product is lovely. The hard product. You can't say that about a 5-star hotel. The hard product is lovely. Walking into the lobby is truly a wow moment. But unfortunately, everything was downhill from there. There's a second review that goes like, it starts good, and then it goes downhill. I have never experienced such bad service in my life. Ever. The €60 Ibis hotel we stayed in the night before arriving in Disney had better service. Reception, disorganized, rude, inexperienced. Housekeeping, a disaster. The toilet had fecal matter. No! Don't tell me that. Why did I read that loud? From the previous guest. I can't go on now. I'm so sorry, listeners. I might have to cut that out. No turn down, no slippers. Information booklet had a sweet wrapper and boarding pass from previous guests, so you could actually tell who the previous guest was. Pillows ordered from the pillow menu never arrived. Sorry to hear that. On checkout day, they were knocking on our door at 8 a.m. Room service, wrong dish arrived at dinner. Food was lukewarm and very poor. Breakfast never arrived, so the kids had to go to the airport hungry. Called them to ask where the food was, and the woman on the phone just giggled. Bar staff, horrendous. About 10 people standing around talking to each other. Wrong drink arrived. Waited 25 minutes for the bill. Then they accused us of leaving at 20 when the bill was 48. We left at 50. I followed the server over to the till and made him open the folder. There was the 50. Did he apologize? No. He said, okay, and walked away. Luggage porters, our luggage was never delivered. They wouldn't answer the phone. After 2 hours of waiting, we went down and they handed us our bags. We had to drag our own bags all the way across to the West Wing after paying €800 per night. I feel like a complete mug. The checkout staff couldn't care less about these issues. They said they'd note them on the iPad and then said, bye, we will see you next time. Next time, never again. Management needs to wake up. The staff is not ready to offer 5-star service. Management should be on the floor, speaking to guests and taking feedback on board. It took me years to save for this special holiday, and after the incompetent staff ruined our trip, they could not even utter a simple sorry. And that's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. There are people out there who save up for this, who do not have the means, but they want that special experience because this is touted as the number one prime Disney experience while staying at a hotel at Disneyland Paris. Yeah. And That, excuse me, makes me so angry, because I can understand people who have been going to Disneyland Hotel for ages. They have the means and they know, okay, this experience wasn't up to our usual standards. But if there's somebody coming in who has saved up months or years for this experience and you're giving them that kind of service, I'm sorry. Unexcusable.
It's really shameful. And I have to say, I should have copied one down. The response, Disney management is answering their customer service on these sites. They'll put each time, they'll say, "We're sorry your experience did not live up to the standards of the Disneyland Hotel. We hope we'll see you again for another visit where things will go better."
That's just a standard response. That could even be
really?
an AI bot. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, what do they take people for? It's really shocking. Really shocking. That one was bad.
Does the next one have something better to say?
Well, I think there's not the word fecal in it, so so that's always a plus. Okay. Ahem. Stacy wrote, "Service does not match its price. I hate to say it, but it's a comfort seeing the bad reviews on here. We had a terrible stay also, so I'm glad to know it wasn't just us, but rather the hotel in general. I'm sad that we had such a bad experience. We were all so looking forward to staying here, and I paid a lot of money to do so. Don't get me wrong, the hotel is absolutely gorgeous, but the service was shocking. Like everyone else, we experienced long waits, rude cast members, room not ready at 4:30 p.m., housekeeping not done until 6 p.m., nothing in the room restocked when housekeeping finally arrived, missing items from the rooms, robes, mugs, etc. We waited almost 3 hours and 3 phone calls for toilet paper to be delivered after not being restocked.
Again, the toilet paper.
It's sad because this hotel, and that's bad. That's such a low bar, really. It's sad because this hotel has so much potential and they've really let themselves down with the service or lack of that they're providing. I'd recommend you spend your money elsewhere and have a much higher quality stay." Yeah.
Is there? So water was not restocked, and juices and mugs were missing, and no toilet paper. Are previous guests taking these things away with them and selling them off on eBay, like Disneyland Hotel toilet paper? 50 euros per roll.
Maybe. I guess I'll have a look on Craigslist and see what's there.
Just look it up. Just Google it.
Maybe so.
Oh, dear. Right, let's go to the next one. This is Michael in Wales. "There is nil customer focus or trust at this hotel. This must come right from the very top.
Hey!
And let me assure you that if you are at all dissatisfied with anything, the staff managers, etc., have no power to resolve anything, and then you eventually get to
Mark,
the truth. You get
you're
told
gonna
to contact Disney."
The listeners from Wales are going to be writing in. You're like culturally appropriating. I have no part in this, people.
I have
I'm not
family
with
in
him.
Wales. I can do this. I was born in the Netherlands. I have family in Wales. Which they then,
all right, go on then.
Okay, which they then make nearly impossible to do. Try and log a complaint on the app where they tell you to do so. And don't dare let your partner and 2 little girls turn up for breakfast, which is so poor for 50 euros per person, as they were not allowed to start breakfast until I turned up, as they require prepayment for everything, trust, then try and re-enter the hotel and the secret police on the door interrogate you every time. This is what we put up with. He then goes into a long story about a mix-up at the Royal Dream experience where cast were rude. They were told there would be a gift in the room for the children to make up for it, but it never arrived. All in all, spent lots of time trying to resolve this to no avail. All this demonstrated the very sly system Disney operate when it comes to customer dissatisfaction, where really they don't want to deal with any negative issues. Face your fears, Disney.
Yeah. I mean, in some of the first bad reviews we read, people did say they were hearing sorry a lot. But some of these later ones, people don't even get an apology
anymore.
They're getting laughed at. It's just like, it's pretty rough. Pretty rough. This is fun. Let's just do a few more. These are so good. Victoria wrote. Just a few more. We're almost at the end here, but this whole thing is such a historic event. I've never seen a Disney hotel crash and burn like this.
Listeners, you can also you can play this at double speed if you want. It'll make it funnier. Yeah. You can hear Beth with a chipmunk voice.
Will sound like Chip and Dale. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Victoria writes, "What a disappointment. I can only describe this hotel as one big disappointment. We were so excited to go, and our trip started well. We got our magic passes for Magic Hour, headed to the park. It was only when we returned for our royal encounter that things started taking a turn for the worse. The hotel was absolutely heaving with non-guests. There were queues for lifts. You could barely get down the corridors. The shop was busy. There were people everywhere. We finally got to our room at 4:20, having to ask a number of times. The room was lovely, but the corridor smelled like sewage. The D Lounge is okay, the only place you really get away from the crowds. We were so looking forward to this, but I'm not sure when we will return. Sorted out Disney. This is not what we expected for the amount we paid."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But not everybody has access to the D Lounge.
Good. Exactly. That's only for those people with the deluxe room. The poor people with the superior rooms are just on their own.
They're in the lobby where all the non-guests are coming in with their line Bertie.
Yes.
Nick wrote, "Disneyland has lost the magic and is open to all non-guests." This is a contentious issue, isn't it? The non-guests.
It is.
"Let down!" exclamation marks. "Myself and my family were very excited about staying in the revamped Disneyland Hotel. However, there were too many things that we were not impressed with and felt let down by Disney. I don't see why we had to put up with too many little problems. Location is excellent. The staff in the hotel were great. However, overall, the hotel has lost the magic for me. Our room was not ready until 2 hours after check-in should have been. Spoiled the start of our holiday. Deluxe lounge was open. However, it is nice to settle in and have a private space." So that's a good thing. If I am paying for a 5-star exclusion or exclusive hotel, an exclusion hotel, that's funny because you're trying to exclude the non-guests. Why can everyone walk around the hotel? So that's intentional. I get it now. A 5-star exclusion hotel. Yeah. The lobby and main hallway was full of non-guests. Far too busy and a real atmosphere killer. Anyone from the park, once in the hotel, could just access the bedroom corridors. There was a horrible smell daily in the main hallway. Again, truly vile. Major problem, clearly to the drainage. I had booked before my first stay in 2025 in the same hotel. I will be cancelling now and staying in the New York hotel again. The Disneyland Hotel has taken the Disney magic away from me. A great shame. The hotel should be for guests only. If the hotel rules and approach to Disneyland guests does not change, then nothing will change. From an upset past guest from Disneyland Hotel, Nick. I have nothing to add to that. I mean, how many more of these should we do?
I'm not sure. Let's see. Well, I guess the show is getting a little long. Let me see if there's anything I really wanted to get to. We won't read this one from Polly. How about from Danielle? Sold as a 5-star hotel, got a 2-star experience, would never stay again. And again, when we arrived, there was a queue to get in, consisting mainly of non-hotel guests who were pushing in front of my family and disabled son to get in. An awful start to what was advertised as a luxury stay. It's much of the same. But her review is very much focused on the inconvenience of having so many non-hotel guests in the space. Mm-hmm. And the bed sheets hadn't been changed by the staff and were dirty. There was nothing in the fridge, no soap.
Coffee, no milk, no water, snacks in the fridge, no soap, no body lotion.
Yeah.
Dirty coffee cups and glasses. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Disneyland Hotel. And then she ends with, I wouldn't recommend this hotel to anyone. It's an utter disappointment and waste of money. The service received at Santa Fe was so much better, friendlier, and more welcoming than this hotel. There was dirt, paint unfinished, repairs in the room, wonky light switches, and standard was awful. I have pictures to reference this. I have seen pictures also of things people have found on their hotel room floors. One included a screw head. There's another podcaster which, I think they have discussed this on their podcast, Chat Disney. She found a thumbnail on her floor. These are recurring issues.
Yeah, like a human fingernail. Yeah, not like a thumbnail like at the start of your YouTube video. Like a literal like fingernail clipping. Just to be clear.
I found a YouTube thumbnail on my floor, yes.
So shocking.
And it looked like this.
Yeah.
For our listeners, I just made a screen face. Okay. I just want to balance this out for the sake of fairness with a positive review.
Okay.
So here's a recap
of
what Condé Nast Traveler magazine wrote. Stepping into another world, a magical stay at the new-look Disneyland Hotel Paris. After a magnificent 3-year renovation, the doors to Disneyland Paris' swanky family hotel are finally open once again. Written by Charlotte Davy. We're sitting in the lobby, waiting to be checked in, which can often be a slow, less inspiring holiday moment, especially with a Duracell-charged toddler at our heels. But this is Disneyland. The lobby is palatial, light-filled, a library, a nod to French fairy tale Beauty and the Beast, but more symbolic of storytelling of stepping into another world. Overhead is a vast chandelier, a glass sleeping beauty's castle within a wand swirl of twinkling crystal charms, and ahead is a grand symmetrical staircase flanked by flutes of fresh flowers. As we wait, cleaning staff in pressed white uniforms burst into song. Be our guest, what else? And colourfully dressed characters teach children how to bow and curtsy before Cinderella's arrival. This is an all-singing, all-dancing introduction to the new 5-star Disneyland Hotel Paris.
Well, see, this is why the rooms aren't being cleaned, though. All the housekeepers are singing and dancing.
I saw a video of housekeepers singing and dancing in the hallways. I mean, they've got so much on their plate.
Yeah, honestly, if they would do less pixie dusting and more actual dusting, it sounds like that would be an improvement. But go on.
A little bit more. We've arrived on opening weekend, a much anticipated reveal after a 3-year hiatus due to its extensive top-to-bottom refurbishment, the first since it opened in 1992. The exterior of the building, candy floss pink with emerald green awning, remains largely the same, which is a joy as the building also serves as the gateway to the theme park. Inside, the color scheme is now an ethereal palette. I like this. An ethereal palette of pastels, silver, and rose gold, leaning towards warmer tones, which give a coziness despite the grand scale. No mention of brown carpets. Aside from the lobby, the nucleus of the hotel is the rotunda, a large octagonal structure that forms the peak of the hotel's iconic silhouette. The ceiling of which is painted midnight blue and covered in stars. We've all seen these pictures, it looks amazing. The rotunda is also the gateway to the 3 main restaurants, the Royal Banquet, a buffet-style dining room with pop-in visit from Mickey and Minnie, the Fleur de Lis Lounge, a cocktail bar, non-alcoholic for younger guests, and La Table de Lumière, a glossy gold and mirrored restaurant, taking inspiration from Beauty and the Beast as well as the Château de Versailles, with a more fine dining approach to cuisine. Breakfast is taken in a separate lounge. Make sure to try the delicious pastries.
This is,
Deluxe lounge, yes, of course.
This is a bit of a tour. We need a little more of her, let's see, the attitude of the staff. Let's bring it around here. The attitude of the staff is certainly noteworthy. Bellboys tip their hats with a flourish. Waitresses hand out shiny stickers to children, and everyone you pass whistles a merry bonjour as if they might burst into song at any moment. Children here are the VIPs with gilded high chairs, a kids club, dedicated menus, and direct access to the park itself. I don't know, these other people didn't get a merry bonjour whistled at them. They were just waiting for toilet paper. No.
The plebs were waiting for toilet paper. Give them toilet paper and bread. So there's one thing that she mentioned about the rooms, which in general she said were spacious, soft plush beds, outrageously plump pillows, and fluffy towels in the bathrooms. Cots were available upon request, which she suggests she would recommend flagging early, and come with full bedding and baby sleeping bags. Though we certainly weren't lacking in amenities, I would have liked to see a bubble bath or a colourful towel for our toddler, which many five-star hotels would provide. A bubble bath for your toddler? Or you mean the stuff that makes the bath bubble?
I mean, I think that's what they meant. Product appropriate for children and like children's towels. But other people couldn't get like normal towels and normal soap and the aforementioned toilet paper. I have to think that this woman was flagged as a reviewer from Condé Nast, and of course she was paid attention to, and dirty cups were not left in her room. I mean, it seems comparing apples to oranges here.
Do you remember that the review we had from Stuart? They were absolutely amazed staying there the first night. They had no issues whatsoever. And I'm just wondering whether everything just fell apart after that first opening day. Because we didn't really get any good reviews, bad reviews from the first 1 or 2 days. Yeah,
people on the ground. Yeah, exactly. Maybe they were on high alert. They had extra staff on, extra supervision. And then they thought, okay, we're going to go into normal operating mode. And they were not ready to go into normal operating mode.
So the question...
Because this is still going on. Yeah.
Yeah, the question is, we know the result. What went wrong in the beginning that they couldn't solve going forward? Because usually when you have a management team that is identifying problems, they go straight for, okay, we've got to have more people here, or we've got to fix the scheduling there. And it seems like from all these reviews that these are from the first month. Okay, maybe we need to revisit the reviews again in a month, in 2 months, and see if these problems have solved. But unless we get an update from Disneyland Paris about the workings of Disneyland Hotel, which I doubt we'll get, the only way to find out is to actually go there and see if all these issues have been resolved.
Well, I mean, I'll be keeping my eye on the reviews and see if these scores start going up. We did a pretty good job with our review. I think we covered all the ground for now that we need to. And maybe this episode can eventually come to a close.
Finally.
Yeah.
Do you think we will ever get invited to stay at Disneyland Hotel?
Insert sound of crickets chirping. Thank you for listening, everybody, to the D2DLP podcast. Feel free to rate and review us kindly, please, but, be honest. We'd like this kind of feedback because it lets new people find us more easily. Between the shows, we update and share news, visits, and we read your comments on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky. You can get in touch with us on our email address. So write to me, I'm lonely. DLP@dedicatedtodlp.com. D2DLP is an Inside Ears fan ambassador to Disneyland Paris. Bye.